chef Julia Child once said, "People who love to eat are always the best people." I could not agree with Julia more, as I myself am a lover of food and find a special bond with those who also love to eat. I love to sit down to a nice meal of a baked potato and a nicely cooked steak. But have you ever thought about how we eat or how the way we eat differs from country to country? Well, in the next few minutes, I will share with you ways that the way we eat in America differs from the way that people eat in Kenya and the way people eat in Saudi Arabia. First, picture the ideal Mayberryan all-American family sitting down to eat a meal where the table is set with turkey and green beans and mashed potatoes and corn and all the good fixings. But we all know that you can't just dig in with your mouth and start eating. There are first many table manners and etiquette that you have to follow. The first being that you should always put your napkin in your lap, as this picture shows. This is one that we have been taught from a very young age, and it's always been instilled in us, so we just kind of go with that from now on. And also, secondly, you should pass the food with your right hand always. So if it is Thanksgiving and the meal is served family style, meaning there are several bowls laid out on the table, you should pass with your right hand, and if possible, keep your left hand in your lap. And lastly, according to Linda Stradley, who studies American etiquette, your utensil setting has a specific way, which this has been lost throughout the American etiquette because it's very hard to do this every time, but you can usually find it in extremely fancy restaurants. So, as you can see, your napkin should be on the far left, then your salad fork, then your dinner fork, and then your dessert fork. Many of us just use one fork to save from doing so many dishes. And then you have your dinner plate, and your soup bowl should be sat on top of your dinner plate to start the meal. And then your dinner knife, your teaspoon, then your soup spoon. And up top, you should have your water glass, your red wine glass, and your white wine glass. And then over on the left, above the forks, you should have your butter plate and your butter spreader on top of the butter plate, or bread plate. Secondly, we look at the table manners in Kenya. Many of them are similar to the ones we have in America, but there are some few that differ and may seem odd to us Americans. One that is similar to us in America is that you should wash your hands before you eat. It's just being clean, it's good hygiene. And then secondly, you should only take what you can eat, because just like in America, it shows disrespect to just waste the food, but especially in Kenya, if you take more than you can eat, then it's showing a disregard for those who go to bed hungry every night. So you should only take what you know you'll eat and maybe go back for seconds. Third, according to Rachel Jusari, who lives in Kenya, she says that you should keep your knuckles off the table. To put your knuckles on the table is just a sign of disrespect, as it would be to put our elbows on our table in America. And lastly, one that may seem kind of odd to us Americans is that burping in Kenya is a sign of pleasure that the food was good. It's like saying thank you, which would not be very nice in America. Lastly, we look at the table etiquette of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, you don't really use utensils. It's a very unique table etiquette. You use your right hand, because your left hand is considered unclean. So as you can see, this person is eating with their right hand. Secondly, if the food is served on the floor, you should sit cross-legged or on one knee, as these men are sitting. And the meal is usually served on the floor, so that's how you would sit. According to Quintessential, a company that studies different cultures and etiquettes, you should have little to no conversation, because it is a sign that you're enjoying the food if you don't speak very much. And you should also try a little bit of everything in Saudi Arabia, so get ready to be adventurous. In conclusion, humans will always eat, but how is up to us. So next time that you sit down for an American meal, make sure to remind your family to put their napkin in their lap, pass with their right hand, and use the right utensil setting, and always to say thank you.
I'm so excited. Praise be God.